Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ali Brown Coaching Podcast. I hate saying my name, so I'll say it really quick now.
You don't like saying your name?
No, it just seems
Okay.
weird. Ali Brown Coaching Podcast.
I'm sorry, I don't know who I am.
I'm here with Hayley, who
Hello.
is first and foremost a friend, and secondly someone who I coach. You alright?
I'm all right. The sun is like shining behind you.
The sun is shining.
It's very nice, apart from we've blocked it out with a bit of cardboard.
So for those on listening to the audio, it's absolutely perfect because Hayley's going to speak into the mic. But the ones on YouTube just see a horrendously glary forehead of me and
occasionally you pushing me back into the microphone.
Hayley, the mic's there.
I have been wedged into a chair.
But it is very unnatural to have a conversation with someone and not look at them and just speak into a microphone.
I don't like it. I'm like looking over there.
And we actually tried to record this already, but
I messed it up.
I could only, on the playback, I could hear Hayley under 50% of the time.
Because I didn't have my face in the microphone.
Because you didn't have your face.
You're
in the
looking at me
microphone.
now.
I'm speaking. I'm looking at you, going.
I'm not moving, man. I've become statue-like.
I know, right? So I don't see you that often anymore.
I know.
Because
but I'm here now.
You're here now, and it's nice because we still do see each other quite regularly, even though
I think we do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Because you now live down in Somerset.
I do.
But let's go back to the start, before we even knew either one of us existed. Because you used to have a big swimming background. You were in club level.
I have a swimming background. I swam for Worcester for a few years, but then I left because I wanted to be a teenager.
So what did you do to be a teenager?
Nothing really. It was a waste. I should have just kept swimming. So I guess I left when I was like 12, 13. But I swam for Worcester since I moved to Worcester when I was 8, nearly 9, and joined the club straight away because I was already quite a good swimmer. And then I swam for them for 5-ish years, I guess.
Nice.
So yeah, and then I'd had enough because it's a lot. Gotta love my parents. 10 hours a week or whatever it was, and
so what was that like? And how often? Yeah, you said 10 hours a week, so I'm guessing
maybe more.
Really early mornings and then after school as well. Kind of thing.
Weekends, every Saturday morning, every Sunday morning, nights after school. It's a lot, and it's a lot when you're a kid as well because it's all about like hundredths of a second that you're doing it for. And if you're not like the best in the club, it's quite obvious that you're never going to be the best. So how does that end? Unless you end it, it's difficult, isn't it? Because
would you just carry on fizzle out?
Yeah, and then you stop enjoying it because you spend the whole time like quibbling over less than a second.
Yeah.
And for what?
It's it can be quite an intense environment, can't it? Because I see like a bit of the Worcester Swim Club sessions now.
Yeah.
And
it's hard work, and you do genuinely have to. Like, I love swimming, but I guess I didn't towards the end because where was I going with it? Because I'd lost the end of the pool. I'd lost the love of it because like it becomes more of a task that you have to do. Or a job, I suppose.
That happens. It's like when you make your hobby a job, that kind of like a similar kind of thing. It's like I like doing it for a hobby, but when it becomes more serious and I'm having to meet targets, I kind of don't like it as much anymore.
No, but and I like swimming for the love of the swimming. Like the times didn't really bother me, and I just liked, I guess, the social bit of it. Like it's quite nice. You chill with your friends at the side of a pool if you're at a competition. Get in and swim for about 30 seconds. Eat some jelly on the side of the pool and have a lie down again.
Eat some jelly.
But that's a lot. And it's not just the training, is it? It's the competitions. They're never necessarily local. You're away for whole days at a time. It's a long journey to these places, and you are like knocking around all day.
Like just stay in hotels and stuff as well.
No, so like God bless my mum and dad, they did a lot of driving, I suppose, and some And
you could sleep in the
just
car.
go early, yeah.
And they drive.
And they'd be sat there. They must have read a lot of books at that swimming pool because it was a Sansom walk that I was at. There's now houses or a condemned swimming pool, isn't it?
It's just a flat piece of ground
They've
now,
knocked
I think.
it down, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a real shame, isn't it?
Weird.
To drive past
It's
thinking,
weird that I spent so many hours there and it has gone.
Mm.
It's very strange.
And if you were swimming there now, you'd be swimming through mud.
I would. And whatever asbestos was in the building.
Was there asbestos?
It was an old building. Come on.
Cheaper to just demolish it.
Possibly. I don't know if there was, but it was an old building. Come on. But yeah, so and that's like your whole weekend then as well, isn't it? So
it's a big commitment, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you're not really, you're not going to get anything past a county level, if you're not going to nationals or the Olympics or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time, pressure, energy when you are growing up.
And let's face it.
And that is fine for some people. They love it, but
you aren't the most competitive person out there.
I'm not.
And in that world, you've got to be quite viciously competitive.
Yeah.
Because the margins are so fine.
Yeah.
And if you just haven't quite got that edge,
you're
not going to be beating those people you have.
No.
And you obviously you didn't want to be either, so
I wasn't bothered.
But
a bit like now.
Yeah.
I'm so not bothered.
They're just like, I'm just fine doing what I'm
doing.
doing.
Do what I want.
But there was still a load of good stuff and positive things that came from that. One, you can swim.
Yeah. I mean,
and two, there were.
I learned to swim when I was 4, so I am at home in a swimming pool, I guess.
You're more at home in a swimming pool.
First sport I ever did. So
in water than on land.
I am better in water than on land. Yeah, that's definite.
Yeah, that's not many people can say that.
No.
So
you're looking at me like I'm not close enough to this microphone.
Oh no, you are. I think you are.
Just push me.
Be like, Hayley, that's it. Open your mouth.
I have got like a blanket wedged behind me.
Start eating a microphone.
To stop me leaning backwards.
Yeah, I shoved the blanket down behind.
I'm in a camping chair on a cushion with a blanket shoved behind me, so I am frozen.
So Anna, who I did episode 1 with, lent us this camping chair, her camping chair, because
very nice.
I only have one chair. Very nice. But
I need a little drink, don't I?
The only thing is, you have got a drink.
Well, yeah, I know. I don't think it'll fit. I can't move now, can I? So
I'll
move away from the microphone.
So the only thing is, it's really low down and it goes really back. So to get people to speak into the mic can be a challenge. So we have to kind of we get a bad back by doing podcasts, pretty much. So you kind of stopped doing swimming competitively in the end.
Yeah.
And, but then because I found you like you're a lost kitten in a shoebox on the side of the road.
Lost it.
It's been abandoned by its mother.
Bobbing along at Purdy's on my own.
So when we met,
yeah,
you were swimming at the time for like just leisure, I guess.
Yeah.
Because of a running injury. So fill the time in. So when you stopped swimming competitively, what happened then, and then you obviously started running at some point.
Yeah. So I think before I properly quit swimming, me and my friend, who I'm still friends with from school, Claire, we did the Race for Life every year.
Oh, nice.
So, and I definitely did that. So we started at Nunnery High School together, but we knew each other before then. So I think the first year we did it was either our first or second year of high school, and we did it like every year until college and possibly a few years after. Mm-hmm. So I guess I started running for Race for Life, and when I say I started running, I mean it was loose. We'd do like a few weeks running before Race for Life, and then we wouldn't do anything for the rest of the year, and then we'd start again every like May before or whenever it was in June, and then we'd start again. And then I guess at some point I carried on running in between the races, but that wouldn't have been until, I don't know, maybe like late teens, early 20s. But I was always sort of all right at running, I guess.
Yeah.
Nothing amazing, but I was all right. And then I started running a lot more in my 20s. When did we meet? How old would I have been?
Jesus. I
was still in my 20s. It was a long time ago.
Really?
I recognise late 20s.
What, when we met? How old are you now?
Oh no, hang on. When did I get? It was the year I was 30. It all fell apart. My body fell apart.
So it was just after that then.
So it would have been
It was.
So I was 29 when I hurt my ankle.
Okay.
And so it would have been about when I was 29 and
Okay.
I started swimming again.
It was maybe like a year or two before COVID.
Yeah, so that would have been about right. So when I was by my late 20s, I was doing a fair amount of running and done like the Worcester 10k and stuff. But I wasn't not really bothered about racing, but we'll come to that I'm sure later. But I had done a 10k just because. But yeah, I just enjoyed the running element of it, a bit like the swimming. I just liked going out and doing something and just doing it, not for any reason other than just being outside.
Yeah.
So, and then I fell over whilst walking.
Let's face it, you probably walk more than you run.
I'm a bit accident prone.
and the amount of hiking that you do, you walk a lot.
Yeah, so I also really like hiking and walking and
walking around Asda.
Yeah, that's it. Just tripped out my car. So yeah, I was out hiking. I think it was in the Peak District. Tripped, hurt my ankle. Then didn't quite realise what I'd done. Obviously carried on with running. Had a bit of a sore ankle leg. Did what, most solid people do. It'll be all right, so I'll carry on running on it. And then it got obviously much worse, really hurt. Most of my leg, I started walking funny, so I pulled my back out. And then, so basically, stopped running for about 2 years, I suppose, which was when I then decided that I had to do something to keep my sanity intact. So I went back swimming, which was horrendous. After being a competitive swimmer and knowing what you could do like 20 years before or whatever it was, I'd had a good 15-year break from competitive world. So yeah, went back swimming. I remember swimming the one length of front crawl and being out of breath and thinking, oh my God, how did I ever do hours and hours of sessions of this? Not that I even swam front crawl competitively.
Yeah.
I did breaststroke and backstroke and medleys and stuff. So I was never a crawl swimmer. I just remember thinking, Jesus, what am I doing?
But it didn't take long though, did it?
It gets better, yeah. Swimming's weird, isn't it? You can quickly lose your fitness at it, but you can quickly build it back again. I think it's the one thing I notice if I have time off.
If you know how to swim, you can quickly build it back again.
Yeah. So, and then I got into a routine of going back swimming again in place of running. And yeah, it took a long time to get diagnosed what I'd done to my ankle, which was I'd done a lot of damage to the top of my foot and the tissues on it. So I'd knocked myself out of kilter from walking funny, basically. But it did end up with me trapping a nerve in my lower back. So it's quite a couple of years. But this did all happen when I was 30. And I just remember, my dad was like, it just all falls apart when you're 30, love. It's all right. Lots of people told me it was all downhill from 30.
Yeah, I can kind of agree so far.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. So, right. Yeah, and then someone else was like, every day you wake up and you just think, what's going to hurt today? Promise.
And then, because I was swimming at the same pool.
Yeah. So we met at Purd as well. And I actually remember from our last time we tried to record this, you'd asked me how we met.
The dress rehearsal.
I actually, our before Christmas rehearsal at this. I actually think I've got the same jumper on. I only own one top.
I'll
have to look at the video and see if I actually own two jumpers. So, yeah. What was I saying? Oh, the pool. Yeah.
So you said you looked back before Christmas.
Yeah. So I actually remember now, I think you were one of the ambassadors for Purdiswell at the time. So I followed you on Instagram because obviously I joined the leisure centre and followed them, and then they'd, whatever. Yeah, we had you go down a wormhole, don't you?
Yeah.
Ended up following you, God. So we met at the pool.
Yeah.
And then you ended up, and then we got chatting because you'd posted a picture up
of a dog.
Yeah. A dog that I also No.
We knew that,
This
dog.
sounds really weird. So we both worked for the National Trust, but you worked at an office and I worked at a property, and somebody who'd worked at the property with me then went and worked at the office with you, and you'd put a picture up and I was like, I know that dog and I know that coloured chair.
This is
and
how
I know
diseases
that wall.
spread, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and then we got talking
Yeah.
and here we are.
Yeah, and you were always coming out of the pool when I was going in. I remember that. And for someone who it takes me a long time to wake up, and I'm a bit like, I'm a bit of a gremlin. Well, I can't think of a better word.
I wish I was still as much of a morning person as I used to be.
But at the time,
I'm not anymore. Well, I am, but I'm not.
You sounded
much.
more alive and awake and happy as you do now at like 7 in the morning.
Because I'd been swimming.
And
I was quite happy.
And it was kind of like a shock. I was like, oh my God, how are you this like alive and awake at this time? I was it was cool. You've been swimming.
I've been swimming. I was set for the day. Sorted me out. So and then I think we just got like coffees and stuff, didn't we? And
yeah, we got a coffee.
And then we got more coffee.
More coffee.
And then more coffee.
And then you took me on some stupid hikes.
Yeah, I've taken you on some long walks. You sound like a pet. I've taken you on some long walks where I've always promised you it's a shortish route, no more than 6 miles.
Fuck me.
How long are they? 10.
Ridiculous. You had to give me your food to keep me going at one point. I was like, I am dead. I've run out of food.
I think that was in the Cotswolds, that one was, because it was about 10 miles.
And I had to drive back to go.
I nearly broke you that day.
Because I had swim teaching later on, didn't I?
Yeah, I'd done about 40,000 steps that day as well.
Mate.
So
I do that much when I do a marathon.
It was a lovely sunny day. I don't know what's the problem with you. And then we realised that, I'm quite good at going uphill, and I'd see you at the top of a hill, and then you were much better at going down because you've got more surface area on your feet.
I sent you some memes of mountain goats after that.
Yeah, and I became a mountain goat.
You are a mountain goat.
I am in your eyes.
Yeah. I'm smart in a way that I just let gravity take me down the hills, and I cannot fall over. So.
I don't have that ability. I'll slide down.
Well, you drop tins of beans on your feet in your kitchen.
I know. Oh God, I'd forgotten about. Yeah.
I can't run, Ali, for a week. I've just dropped a tin of beans on my foot.
That's it. I went to minor injuries for that because I was convinced I'd like shattered something in my foot. 'Cause it really bloody hurt. But that way I only had a week or 2 off for that. It's all right.
It was just funny.
So yeah, that's how we met.
And then, so I guess at some point you were like, you kind of like the idea of getting back into running, and I was coaching triathlon.
And I was waiting because I was waiting for a scan with the NHS on my foot because it still really hurt when I walked for like 2 years. This all went on for. So I'd got all right at swimming again by the time I actually could like put a pair of trainers on. So and I was basically waiting for them to say if I could or couldn't run because I didn't know if there was still damage that was healing or if it had repaired. Again, so when I got the scan back and they said that it was historical damage that was repaired, it was okay. But that I think we were within COVID by then. I'm sure that was during the pandemic that I started back running again. So I remember it being really quiet out on like the roads and stuff. So it must have been. So that was
2020.
So that was like, so it'll be 3 years this year.
Yeah. And then it was like, you've come back from an injury. The last thing I want, the worst case, is to bring an injury back. So it's train you, but very gradually and not.
Yeah.
But did you ever feel anything with your foot again, or?
No, but I was so, and I guess it's always still in the back of my mind. I was so cautious when I went back running. Yeah. And like that top end, I'm just always a bit like, but what if what if it hurts my foot again, and what if my back hurts? So, you've got better now, though, haven't you?
I
have. But it comes with time, doesn't it? So when that first year when I went back, I was just petrified that I was going to injure myself again.
In a way, it's a good thing because you don't want to do too much.
So I was like very tentative on my feet, but I sort of learned how to run again a bit but a bit more properly. So I focused on more stuff like my cadence and.
Did you come to any of the track sessions when you were in Worcester? I don't think you did.
I think I came to one, but that was after when I dropped that thing, the to the beans or whatever it was on my foot incident. So I was sort of, again, I was taking
hobbling
it a bit
around.
lighter that day. Yeah.
But, so you gradually got your confidence back as you just ran a little bit.
And we'd obviously thrown bike stuff in there as well.
Because you happen to have a bike.
I had
and an indoor one.
Yeah, an indoor, just a real, like, nothing fancy, nothing expensive, but I had a resistance bike.
All you need.
Which I've gone through one since then, but I still have a fairly cheap, couple of £100 resistance bike, which I do my bike training on. But so I suppose it was because I think we probably did a lot more bike stuff than running, certainly time-wise. As well. So when I first started back, it was only very short runs, but you gave me a lot more bike stuff to do, and obviously we just kept the swimming at a level that I was used to, I guess, because
for the moment,
yeah.
Recently it's gone up a bit.
It has, but I never noted. Like, I don't. It's not the same with swimming for me. It doesn't matter. What matters is, obviously, can I get to work on time?
But you're so swim fit, so you don't notice it.
I don't notice if it's 2K or 4.
Because you're so fit.
It doesn't make a difference. It's just the swim.
I mean, you say that to some people probably listening will go, "Fuck me, that makes a massive difference." But you're so used to
different.
It's kind of in your DNA. So because I can relate to that when you do 4K or even 5K, and it feels like you get out and you feel like, oh, is that it? Like,
it's the same as it's the same feeling as if you've done a 2K. Short swim. Yeah. Because sometimes the short swims are harder because you make them so like punchy. Like sometimes after the shorter swims, I'm a bit like,
you ache more.
If it's been like quite a zippy session, I'm a bit like, oh god, I feel like I might as well swim the 5K, but no, I sort of don't. Other than the fact that the time allocated to a longer swim, it doesn't make any difference to me.
You could crack
on.
I
could
could
carry
fine.
on for hours in a swimming pool, I'm sure.
Yeah.
As long as I had some like sort of chocolate bars lined up on the edge, maybe after a couple of hours. But yeah, I could carry on endlessly swimming, whereas it is not the same for other sports like that for me.
Yeah.
Because I am not a cyclist at all. I'm accident prone on my feet, let alone on wheels. Hence it's an indoor stationary bike.
Much safer.
Yeah, and I'm just
Yeah, so
I am more comfortable in water.
So in like triathlon, don't need to do a shit ton of running. You don't need to do so much running, whereas a lot of people think they do. We strip it back a little bit, and we do a lot of swimming. We do most of the bike training we do is hard because you can just go for it on a bike, and there's very low chance of getting injured compared to something like running because you've got no impact. So I mean, even other people I've taken on and coached, they've always been saying, God, this time last year I was doing so much more running, or oh God, I really don't feel like I'm running much. But then they've gone on to race fantastically and set PBs, and remember Julian did his first Ironman in 11.5 hours.
It's crazy,
and I'd him running so much less. You look at Sue. She was training for a marathon and a half distance at the same time.
Meg, like, she's done some amazing PBs recently.
Yeah,
I'm
Meg.
just like, oh, God.
So I stripped back the volume Meg's running, and now she's going quicker
than ever. It's amazing. It is amazing to see.
So volume.
Her times were incredible. I'm just like, one day.
Mate, and they can get faster. They can get faster. And yours can get there as well. So there's this misconception that more volume equals better, where it's not the case. And there's a lot of other things to think about in there, and often less is more, and being smarter is more. So again, you don't need to have so much time available. You can still do it. Look, remember Cara? Did you meet
Yeah,
Cara?
I did. I think I saw her at Perd as well.
Yeah.
Because she had one of the evening pool boy things, and
The
I was
Any
like,
pool
she's got,
boys.
I've got that off you.
Yeah.
So, but I never spoke to her, I don't think.
So she was just
other
doing
than a hello. Maybe.
She was doing sprint and standards.
Yeah.
And I was like, Cara, I want you to do a middle. She goes, I can't train anymore. Says you won't have to. We'll keep the training volume the same. Trust me, you'll be fine for a middle. So we did it. She did the middle, and she goes, "Oh my god, I loved it. I'm gonna stick. This is now my distance. I'm sticking with this." I was like, "Sorted." It's because you are made for this distance. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So
I haven't had any niggles at all
good,
since I went back running.
That's the plan.
Other than whatever I have self-inflicted by an accident.
I can't control what you do in your own home.
Yeah,
but...
sorry, I can't. If I am clumsy and drop stuff and fall over whatever that is my responsibility and my problem. That is not. It's not because of the training. It's because of me. Of my general demeanour.
So why do you even care remotely about triathlon then?
Because I like training. Because I'm not competitive. About all of that stuff.
Because if you spoke to the average Joe on the street and mentioned triathlon, they would go competitive.
Yeah, I suppose there's an element of it is satisfying if you know you've done a PB, but I'm not. It sort of doesn't bother me. I don't really worry about comparing myself to
that's good.
Anybody else. And I do the training because I like the sort of the motion every day of training. So I like doing something for me every day. It sets me up for the day. It's a bit of headspace, and so it's not necessarily about having an end goal for it all. I just like the doing something every day,
which is kind of a sustainable mindset and a long-term mindset and a healthy one, because often the time you can have these goals that are 6 months away, and then when people reach it, they just do nothing afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's kind of stop starts, up and down,
or life happens in the way. So
but to build it in to where you can maintain it 24/7 every day of the year and still be fine and not have these massive peaks, and that's really that's kind of a skill to be able to find that balance, and it's so much better for you.
Yeah.
Because so many people kind of train for a big event and then go, "That's it, I'm gonna have 2 months off." You fall back so much, and you lose a routine, you lose the fitness, and it's so hard to. And it's kind of it's a really good mindset to just train for health. So it's not just for a race, and then when races pop up, just do them.
Yeah.
Because then you're more likely to carry on doing it.
Yeah, because it's not necessarily about the thing that, because what if you there is what if you do fall over and or what if you get ill, or what if something else happens in your life,
if there's a crash on the motorway when you're driving there,
there's all sorts of stuff that can happen, and if you've built up to one thing for all of it and then something derails it, then what does that do to your brain, I suppose?
How do you deal with that?
So I much prefer I like the routine.
Yeah.
I'm a creature of habit.
So
I like the routine of training.
Let's talk about mental health, because the one big benefit of exercise is being more mentally healthy, being able to deal with stuff better, anxieties, depressions, whatever people kind of struggle with. So is that a big reason why you do it? And if you were to take sport away, what kind of impact would that have on you then?
So I guess I am a naturally anxious person, and doing something, sport every day, it just gives you, especially this is why I like swimming so much, because you don't think about anything when you're swimming, you're just there. So I can barely even count the lengths when I'm swimming, because I just phase out. Some of the 400s this morning were a bit of a different distance than they should have been, because I just lost count. But so I guess it's just a bit of, it's like headspace, and it's just taking yourself away from everything else. So you're like, if you're running, you're outside, you're looking at your surroundings, not too much in case you fall over. But I guess it's an escapism. So you have a bit of time for yourself to just do something for you every day before you go to work and do whatever else, whatever responsibilities you have. It's just something that's a bit of like precious time that you invest in yourself. That for me means I feel set up for whatever the day may bring.
Yeah. I think because I can relate with that as well, because I know if I haven't trained, say that morning, and I like got to go and do some work or got to go and meet someone, like I'm just not as, I don't know what it is. I just don't feel as alert as with it, and I'm more prone to then listen to those negative thoughts that pass through your head. A lot, and often the time you can just notice and ignore them. So if I've done a massive, no, not massive, not been massive, but if I've done a swim session and I've felt great and whatever, it's so easy to then just not fall down that negative route of thinking and stay proactive and stay positive and just and get through the kind of day.
I think you just feel more like on it for the day, don't you? You just feel like, I don't know what it is endorphins.
That's part of it.
But
yeah.
I just think it's the satisfaction of knowing that you've built that into your day every day when most people don't. I suppose
we're creatures of habit and routine, I guess, as well. So it's kind of like the satisfaction that we've not been lazy. We've got out of bed. We've gone and done this. We know it's good for us.
Then you can be lazy. Then you can lie down on the sofa in the evening.
Then you can have a nap at lunchtime because you've earned it.
But I just think it is a routine as well, isn't it? And it's really, building a routine is difficult, but once you've built that routine, it is even more difficult, I think, to stop that routine and feel good about it.
Because it's
like, it's not a terrible addiction, but it is addictive to, because you don't feel right if you don't do something active.
Because it's not normal. Because normal is being active every day. Well, we're doing stuff every day.
Yeah. So I never feel quite right. Like if I'm ill and I can't train, which isn't often, but
because there might be people listening to this who are still at that point of trying to form that routine and just getting it built into everyday life. And so how did you initially set that routine? What helped and what didn't help, and just to get the routine in the first place?
I think I'm lucky that I am, or I have been very much a morning person, so that gives you the ability to build stuff into your day if you're awake and sort of very alert at 6 o'clock. I wish I still was as good as I was in my 20s. I'm struggling now.
I don't buy it that you're not the
I
same
still can get myself out of bed, but it's just the winter. I hate it when it's dark. It's all right in the summer. Turn the lights back on now. I'm bored of it being dark in the mornings. But yeah, I guess I'm lucky. I am a morning person. I've always been a morning person. I worked in retail for a decade. I was awakened at the shop at 7 o'clock in the mornings for delivery sometimes. So my working life from being when I left college was operating at very early hours of the morning. So when I left retail, it was really easy to still build something in at that time in the morning because my body was programmed to be awake then. But then I might not have had work till 9. So I still had a huge window of time for me.
And you kept that. So it would be
so easy. So
I've
retained that window, but I use it for me rather than for work now.
Are you quite disciplined?
I think, yes. But I'm not sure. Sometimes, I don't know. I think I am. I do the things every day. I think it's determined to not give in to thinking you can't do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
It's more of a willpower because sometimes like I don't like leap out of bed every morning and be like, yeah, I'm gonna go and run in the cold now. But I think I know that the benefit that you feel after doing that thing outweighs the getting out the door bit.
Mm.
Because that's the hardest bit, especially in the winter. It's just getting out the door to go and do the thing.
That's the hardest bit.
That is the hardest bit.
And then
once
afterwards,
you've done it, you're just like, oh, what's all that fuss about? It's great. Like,
what was the fuss about?
Yeah, what was all that fuss about? It being cold. But yeah, so I think I am disciplined but it's because I know that I will feel better for the routine and keeping the routine.
Mm. And it's much better than the feeling of not doing a session just because you couldn't be arsed or you just didn't want to get up.
You're a little bit tired.
And then how bad you feel later on that day.
Yeah.
Just because I could have easily done that and it would have helped me and I didn't. Why did I not do that?
I could have still built it into my day.
It's kind of, do you think that's a kind of a weak thought? It's like you could have easily gone and done that, but you let your body win and say no. And
yeah, I suppose that's what makes it. That's where the whole routine bit comes in, though, isn't it? Because it takes ages to build your routine, and it is really difficult. But once you've got it, it is much easier to stick to it, even if you are like a little bit tired. But I guess that's why I like the training that we do, is because it doesn't, like, you don't set us a time to do. Like, it's not paces, it's not off whatever times in the pool is. So you can sort of, if you do feel really knackered one day, you just adjust what your efforts are in your training. So it doesn't, you can still go out and do the sessions, even if you're not like completely raring to go.
Yeah.
You might have had a late night. You might just, it's been really cold. I work outside. It's really tiring.
Yeah. It makes it more achievable to train when you are training by how you feel.
Yeah.
So if you've got 4 different effort levels, easiest to hardest, 1 to 4, those actual efforts don't have to be the same day in, day out. As long as they feel that they're in the right place on that day, absolutely fine. And it does not matter at all what the actual pace is of those efforts. And I think within especially triathlon training, there is way too much focus on these numbers and always comparing day to day and in training testing and all of this stuff, which ultimately we have done really well just by not even pushing. I don't believe in training testing. I don't believe in FTP. I don't believe you need this information to be able to train better.
Yeah.
And in fact, with many people who I've helped, it's been a hindrance.
I think technology's a blessing and a curse, isn't it?
I agree.
Like, I wear a watch because I wear a watch in a pool because even with a bloody watch, I still can't count the lengths, but at least I'm nearer to it, aren't I? But like, I wear a watch because I genuinely would have no idea where I was by hundreds of meters, probably. So I wear it so that I can vaguely stop at the right time.
Yeah,
unless I'm swimming 50s, I've got no hope. Honestly, even on hundreds, I'm like, have I done 2 or 4? It's awful. I can't. It's like 400s, I've got no chance. Because if people get in around you, you're just like, oh, where am I? What, 12, 15?
Yeah.
How many? So, and it's the same for running. It's like, I'm not really bothered about how far or whatever time it is. It's the I'm just listening for the beeps for the effort changes.
Yeah.
Because if I'm trying to look at a stopwatch or something, which I would happily use if I wasn't gonna fall over as well. So it's just like I just use it for the beeps, so I know when I need to change the effort, not necessarily because I love looking at the times and how far everyone. I haven't got a clue most of the time.
No. People ask all the time, "Oh, how far did you run?" And I genuinely say, "I don't know." And they look at me thinking I'm being difficult.
X amount of minutes.
Yeah, but I've run for this long,
and I've done it.
Yeah, and they give you that look as to say, "Are you just having me on? Are you being difficult now on purpose?" I'm like, "No, I genuinely don't know how far I've ran."
No.
And they're like, And the fact that they are like gobsmacked by that just shows how reliant people are on this.
Yeah. But like when I
mad,
started running, and probably when you started running, smartwatches didn't exist. Like you just went out, and like you might have looked at a clock on a wall before you went out, all the time on your microwave or something.
I turn around when I feel ready to come back.
Yeah, and like nothing was about like what your watch said. So.
Yeah, it can be. There's a whole. We can go too well deep into this, but looking at these numbers and things they can also be a hindrance in many ways.
It can be quite demotivating as well, I think, because if you are feeling a bit off that day and you can't match a number,
and if you force yourself, you're going to get injured.
Yeah,
because that happens. Yeah. And then if you're feeling great one day, you can actually, your body's capable to do more than that number, but you hold yourself back.
Yeah.
So there are so many. It just doesn't make much sense to me, especially with triathlon training, which is such an endurance sport.
And every like if you've got, depending on the session you've done like the day before or the morning, if you've got an evening one as well, like the efforts you might be able to produce for something can vary like wildly.
Exactly.
Depending on what you've done the day before, which is part of the training, which is by design. But yeah, so you might not be able to run whatever speed one day after you've done like a really long bike,
and as a
your
coach,
legs will be knackered, and that's all right, isn't it?
Like,
as a
coach,
it doesn't matter.
I might know that as a coach, and then I know that if they're looking at the time, they're going to think, "Oh, I'm slower today. I feel really bad." No, I know you're going to be slower today, and that's the whole point. It doesn't matter because
you've still gone out and done something, haven't you?
The effort's still there, and you're still training, and we're training on building what we've done yesterday.
Yeah.
So often the athlete doesn't understand the process we're going through. They are not coaches. They don't understand the coaching process. Therefore, they look at these numbers with a different perspective, a different viewpoint, which is not in line with athletic performance and development. And a lot of the time, athletes can get carried away with these numbers and their own thoughts, and it just goes down a negative spiral. It's really hard to wean them off this drug.
I guess it's because sport can be like it's for many, I suppose, it's a really sociable activity. Like there's loads of run clubs and lots of clubs to do your sport with, your chosen sport. And that's great, and that might be exactly what some people need, but also at a top end, I suppose, that can be like wildly competitive, but not for the right reasons. So that's why I'm always on my own.
I don't want to train with anybody. Too social, too competitive for me.
But I did do the swimming group when I lived in Worcester.
Yeah, we did the swimming, but everyone went their own pace.
That was kind of nice though.
So what you're trying to say is that
this is why I do triathlon. It's because it's not a team.
It's just you.
It's you
doing your effort.
You can put your music on, or you can like do what you want to do.
You haven't got to keep up with this person who's a bit faster, or wait for that person who's a bit slower. You go your effort level, and when you're running in groups and stuff, you are often training to somebody else's.
Yeah, and I think by
agenda.
In nature, we always try and go one better than we're able to, or perhaps one better than we should be. And effort level, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because we're human.
Yeah.
And you always want a bit of what you might not be able to have. So,
which is why I believe discipline is hugely important, because it is so easy to just be going way too fast or putting too much effort into something, whereas you're following a structure that's been designed for you. You need the discipline to stay easy if it's easy, and because then you're going to reap the benefits of it.
Yeah. Because
you're not thinking, I've got to do the fastest I can every day. You're just kind of, just stick with it. In the long term, it's going to work. But you need to trust it. Every day doesn't have to be a monster day.
And it's still a routine. So you just go out there and you do.
You can't do it. You can't have routine if every day's a monster day. You'd be dead after a week.
A couple of days. I feel like I need a week.
I need a week off now to recover. Jesus.
I'll see you at Christmas.
This is not how endurance works. But anyway, so I've written down races and then in brackets sometimes.
Sometimes.
So obviously you're not competitive, but I actually believe I only compete with myself.
I do.
And when I go to races, I don't give a monkeys who else is there, and I try and ignore everybody. Even if I see someone I know, I just try and ignore them, and I just go, right, I'm going to do this race based on how I'm feeling, and that will not change regardless of who else is doing the event. So when you look at it in that way, it kind of turns it into just a glorified training session, which is a bit more social and there's a bit more going on, a bit more exciting, but you're still doing the same things as you do every day anyway. So with that, does that mindset make races seem a bit more appealing or a bit nicer to you?
I suppose I've done a few more recently, but I've just never been bothered. I think it's just because when I quit swimming, I was like, that's it, I'm done. I don't want to be competitive ever again. Like, I'm
when
done.
You quit swimming.
I've had enough of it.
Yeah.
Like, I had enough for life by the age of 13.
I've grown up now, don't want any more of this.
I've had enough of competing. But yeah, I suppose I never go to race. I never race.
You've raced well.
A few races I've done. I don't go there
Got a
thinking.
little trophy.
I don't think it. Yeah. Second. But I don't go thinking like, oh, I wonder like where I'm gonna be or whatever. I've just gone and thought, oh well, I'll give it. I'll see what I can do today.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We need more people who think like that.
Yeah. But then, because it's totally skewed anyway, isn't it? Like, okay, yeah, I did come second in that 10K, right? Nobody fast turned up, so apart from one lady who obviously came first, she was like some elite runner. And I ran like one of my worst 10K times ever. And yeah, I came second. So it's all meaningless, really, isn't it? Because how do you know?
I mean, it's nice,
but it's all a bit false. That's why I guess that's why I'm not really bothered about it because it is false sometimes.
It doesn't have that much meaning to it.
Not to me. I totally appreciate that people love racing and love doing that to see where they can come and things, and that's totally fine. And that's how other people, train and how they what they want to do.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not really. It just doesn't bother me.
You get some races like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not like on the.
Like I said, nobody turned up. It was
great.
Not
a competitive race. You can go to competitive races.
Yeah, but it doesn't like.
But but I guess they are more serious and more intense, and the standard is really high. So like coming second in a local 10K might mean coming last in the British Champs or something. Like,
but it doesn't matter. And to be honest, because
you still ran the same.
Yeah, and because I've moved as well. I guess I did like the couple of races I did last year. It's because I've moved. There's new areas to run in. It's kind of an all right way to learn some of the routes that you wouldn't necessarily run, or go to some of the places that you might not have seen before. You may never go if you're like new to somewhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, like. It's just a different way of exploring and meeting some other people who you might see.
Because I'm going to come. We've decided just before this podcast that I nearly fell off my chair because Hayley came in today and goes, Ali, I found a race I'm going to do, and I went, you what? and I thought she was joking because she said it's called the Cheddar Triathlon. I was like, oh, do they do cheese? Do they give you cheese at the end?
I'll get you cheese at the end. Do you want it with a brie?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And you've actually, because, it's in your eyes preparation, because I don't know how I've managed to persuade you this, but
I feel like I can't go back now, so it's too late.
No, I've written you on the list.
I know.
There's no turning out now.
But do you know what? I'm just doing it for a fun day out, really.
So the fun day out, and it is going to be a fun day out.
Because I used to swim with some of these people. I haven't actually seen them since I moved away. So it'll be a bit more like I'm treating it like a bit of a reunion where everyone can see me finishing at the end.
No, look, it's not going to be that. So it'll be the Cotswolds 113 middle distance triathlon.
Yeah.
So we've got Sam, Charlie, Jeremy, Meg, me, Stu. Stu's bringing a mate. You. I've missed somebody.
Get the list.
Who have I missed?
You just showed me the list.
I've just shown you the list. and forgotten.
Little diary.
But it's going to be exactly that. Like we can go as a team. We can even have a marquee at the end, which will be really, really nice. And I mean, I'm just going. That's everyone.
But it will just be.
It will just be a really
fun
nice
day out.
Like no one. Like I don't care. I don't think anyone cares about what time I'm going to do. We're just going to go. It'd be lovely to go as a team and just have the experience. Go and do an event. All be at the same place, be able to catch up at the end. That is really appealing to me.
Yeah.
Because you feel great after doing any kind of event.
But it's something that you're like, because you'd be like, we'll all be out there sort of on our own.
Yeah.
But it's just a nice chance to catch up with people that, like, a lot of us did
Chris
swim together at Pershore.
Yeah.
And people have gone their own ways since then.
Moved.
Yeah, so I've moved, and obviously you've moved. The sessions are at Hurdisville in the evenings.
Yeah, we don't
now.
do the session there anymore.
So it'll be. I'm just like, it'd be nice to see people who I used to swim with.
Yeah, it just sounds really
early
nice.
in the morning.
Yeah, hi, and and also
I was always the last one in, wasn't I? My timing's never been good.
Oh, we could also do something for.
I will get there on time.
Oh, mate, I know you're not on time. It's fine.
I'm never on time.
You were today, though.
Well, no, I wasn't. I was 5 minutes late.
Oh, okay.
I'm forever 5 minutes late.
For you, that's on time,
Yeah,
I think.
it is.
And I guess it would just be really nice to get everyone together. And we can also do something like a blog thing or something for the podcast there as well. So I'm excited for that, really. And as a byproduct, I might just borrow someone's bike and go and do it just because.
I thought you were doing it.
Yeah, I think I will.
Okay.
It's still,
I thought you were doing it. I thought that was the
I think I am. It's in my head. It's still a mild question mark.
Okay. No, you have to do it. Otherwise, I'm not doing it.
All right, yeah, I'm doing it then.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch you do it. No, okay. I can borrow. I can borrow Paul's bike. Or I'll ask Paul if I can borrow his bike again.
Borrow the bike called Paul.
Yeah, I borrowed Paul's bike and I named the bike Paul. And I used to say, I've been riding Paul today. And he'd look at me like, because he's...
Don't call my bike that.
I did it to see his reaction in the swimming pool once and he gave me a look. It was really funny.
He's a teacher. I can imagine the look he gave you.
Well, he's kind of his role's quite senior as well.
Yeah.
So
he'll have the look, the teacher.
No, but I know that, so
look.
I play on that and I'm like, yeah, it's really funny.
So as a byproduct of that, I thought I better get my arse in gear and actually do a thing beforehand.
The Cheddar Triathlon.
But it's another thing. It's close to where I live now. It's an area I won't have been to.
I might come and do it with
find
you.
some nice it's round country lanes. It's very scenic. I've just read to you a world of funny place names that
along the route.
Strawberry something for the run and Cheddar Gorge and Velvety Bottom or something.
You are just making this up.
Oh, it's Somerset. Anything goes.
It's like a children's book that someone's written.
But it'll be all right because it's in April, so it gives me time to because I can't see properly either, so it gives me time to arrange what I'm gonna do with my eyes. Yeah.
So I mean, we've got two different things that we've seen because my vision was a bit bad, so I just went, F it, I'm gonna go and get laser surgery. So I did that at 21.
But that gives
whereas
me the fear. So I wear contacts.
I didn't care, and I just bought. I had a credit card, but where you wear contacts still.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to swim wearing contacts.
No, so
really.
I have prescription goggles. Hilarious when you go to a new pool and you're trying to see where you're going and you're going, walking out,
you'd be awful.
Holding your goggles. So you can see where the pool is and what lane you're supposed to be getting in.
You can't see in goggles anyway after a few pet uses, can you?
But it's all right by then, isn't it? Because it's when you go to a new pool and you
like
don't know where the bloody hell you're going.
Sonar against the pool.
You've either got to wear your glasses to poolside and risk them getting trodden on, or go out in a pair of goggles so you can see what lane you're supposed to be getting.
Sue will love to listen to this.
She felt my pain, didn't she?
Yeah.
So I've got prescription goggles, but obviously I can't be poking some contact lenses into my eyes. My eyes has got worse in the last few years, so it is far more. Whereas I could have gotten away with it a couple of years ago. It is not something I can now get away with.
So it gives you time to sort that out.
I will not. I'm not road legal without corrective things on my eyes. Oh, imagine that extends to if you're riding a bike too. So
because my thinking was, I was a bit younger. I was like 21. I'm thinking this. I think it was like $3,000 to get my eyes lasered and hopefully permanently corrected. Is going to be cheaper than a lifetime of prescription running glasses, contact lenses, all of this shit. So it kind of made sense to do that, but I don't know. Like, I mean, I just
don't like it. I'm just scared. I'm scared.
I don't
want to do it.
Yeah, I think I got my eyes lasered and my first tattoo in the same week. I thought
you just went all in.
yeah.
So instead of doing that, I've just got to sort some prescription sunglasses out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be grand.
For a couple of months, I'll be all right.
Yeah. You just need a guide to run you from swim exit to transition 1.
That's it. Or keep my goggles on.
Yes. Big brain.
Really thought about that.
Yeah, do that. Sometimes it can be a bit
Sorted.
of a. It won't be. It won't.
Just hold on to someone.
It's not a long run at all at Cotswolds.
Right.
No, because I've done it. You literally come out.
Because someone hold my glasses out for me at the edge.
if you look like you're struggling, they normally grab your arm and pull you up.
I'll just shout, I can't see.
Yeah, they'll come and get you. Yeah, and then you're on the grass and transition is right in front of you. Where
it'll be all right.
Imagine some are like you have a kilometre run down a closed road in bare feet to get to transition 1. Yeah, it's mad.
So yeah. So despite me saying that I don't race, I'm doing a couple this year.
Yeah, but
it's just more for fun of doing it. Really,
you
I'm
have
not
a really good
bothered,
approach to it.
Yeah.
You're in my view, you have a healthy approach to it. I mean, there's more than one healthy approach to it. You can be competitive and still be healthy, but yours is a really healthy approach to racing. Coming from, well, I've seen many unhealthy approaches to it in my time of being at these, events and championships and qualifying events, stuff like that. Where it's kind of like, not keen.
You can only do what you are able to do on any given day, so
exactly. And then,
that is the same for training.
Yeah,
so.
and if you've done your best, I could not care less where that person finishes, but for them to do their best, finish in X position, and then feel really bad and awful about it, to me, it just doesn't make much sense. I'm like, you've done brilliantly.
You've done something.
You've done your best.
Yeah.
You're a winner in my eyes. Like, if you're feeling bad about yourself, I'm annoyed by that. Why? It's not right. It is what it is.
Yeah, you can't. That's why I don't think. Again, this is just why I'm not bothered about it, because like you can't build stuff up like that. Because inevitably stuff doesn't go the way you think it will on a day. You can't like have a perfect day. So it's rare you'd have a perfect day, isn't it? So that's why it doesn't really bother me, because it is unrealistic to expect the very best every time you enter something.
Yeah, and I've actually got a quote written on my wall up there, and it's got happiness equals reality minus expectation. And I always remember that.
Yeah.
Because it's quite meaningful. Yeah. You're quite unique, your situation, in that when you go in the warmer months, when you go to work, or you live somewhere, I don't know if it's, well, you work next to where you live.
I do.
You have a 1-lane outdoor pool, which looks like it was owned by a Roman, is it emperor? Roman emperor? Like Caesar owned it or something.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
You have your own private swimming pool. It's 20 metres, isn't it?
It's 20 metres, and
heated.
The owners very kindly let me use it in the summer months when it's on and open, which is roughly like April, May time through to, it's about September this year.
Which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's ace.
You sent me a picture and I was just like, wow.
Yeah, I'm very unique position. I'm very fortunate that I don't have to swim in a public pool for 6 months of the year. I do wonder, do people think, where's she gone? Like,
she's like the queen. She's got her own pool.
Why does she only swim in the winter? What a weird thing to choose to do.
She emigrates in the summer.
Yeah, but I don't come back any more tanned. Shame. So yeah, but because I remember saying to you, it's 20 metres, how will that work? But it is just the same.
Mate, like...
It doesn't matter, I can still turn around.
In the bigger picture of it, the money you're saving will be fairly considerable in those time period. So it is worth adapting to the 20-meter pool for that amount of time.
And it's just the cold. It's like it's not just it's not sort of the money. It's like you've got to drive to a pool. You've got to drive.
Yeah,
back
all the
from
costs
a pool,
associated.
The
money is all.
It's
and the
all
time.
in there, isn't it? It's an extra. Like depending on where you
Just
live
doesn't make
to a
sense.
swimming pool, it is a really long way sometimes for some people.
So normally you'd want a 25-meter pool.
Yeah.
But with all those things considered, it's like, doesn't make sense not to use a 20-meter pool here.
Not when they are being lovely enough to offer me the use of it.
Who else is going to use it?
Because the people that own it, they use it at a different time of day, a time when I'm normally at work. So
do they have it heated all day, constantly then? Or just when they want to use it?
So it's like it's turned off in the winter, so it cools down.
So in the summer, is it on all the time?
Yeah.
The heating bill must be huge. Yeah, I guess.
Very nice people.
They are. Well, if I come and do this cheddar triathlon with you, I can maybe have
a look at it. I don't know when that, because they're not. They're sort of there, and sometimes they're not. So.
If they're there, they won't want some random bloke coming down their pool.
They might not have turned it on by that time in April either. But you could have a look at it if it's not open for business.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, they're very lovely, and I'm very fortunate. And it is a very unique situation to be in.
Yeah.
So, I obviously use that pool in the summer, because why wouldn't you? And you get to swim outside, and I like being outside.
What I loved about swimming outside, I've swum in an outdoor pool before, is when the pool's heated and when it's chucking it down with rain, it feels amazing.
But it's like you get like all the steam in the morning. It's really it's it's very weird.
Yeah.
When it's a bit chillier, and you take the cover off, and it's like all like misty. It's quite like.
Feel like you're in a secret retreat.
Yeah.
Like a magical pool.
Did have to buy some outdoor goggles though.
Yeah.
Just couldn't see a thing.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought it through when I went in my indoor pool goggles before, that obviously I would need a tint on the lenses so I could see when the sun shone on me. So I went in the first day, I was like, I'm blind, I can't see even more now.
You should get tanned, because the sun even goes through the clouds, and so you're still going to get
but it's
tanned
early,
as well.
isn't it? So sometimes it hasn't quite risen yet, but it's enough to
swimming in the
have
dark.
warranted needing to buy some different goggles so I could see the under the water without it being cloudy.
Yeah. Have you got the little? Imagine if there was little runway lights down the lanes, just on the sides. You can just follow.
There are lights on the sides. Yeah,
getting more fancier by
I've never turned them on because I can see where I'm going. I suppose it's if you wanted to swim at night, which when they built the pool they may have thought about and they may use.
Skinny dipping.
So I don't know. I'm not there at night, so
no, because they are skinny dipping.
So that's their pool. So, but yeah, there are lights in it. So yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, it's quite a good situation.
So we've got. It's a good situation. So hopefully it gets warmer soon, and then because we've got a few things happening this year, and it sounds quite groovy.
Yeah, it needs to get warmer because it's the cold.
Mm-hmm.
Circulation, poor circulation.
The song there. I thought you were going to start singing a song.
What sort of song?
It sounded like you were going to start breaking into song.
God no, not
poor
for other people to listen to. Nobody deserves that. Your microphones won't work.
Oh no, they definitely will for that. That's cool. We've had a good chat.
Did you have anything else written in your notebook?
No. Everything. Is there anything else you
told me you were going to
be?
Yeah, because you said to me, I'm going to be more organised for this re-recording.
Oh, I think I was a bit ill the last time.
It was our warm-up, wasn't it?
I wasn't really with it on the last record.
I can't remember. I've been ill since.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably a good thing that the recording was trash. Listened to it back and I was like, oh my God.
I think I've stayed at an appropriate distance to this microphone, so it better have recorded everything.
I think it's recorded. I think it's done really well.
I hope so.
I'm sure people will tell us, we'll be able to hear before we put it out.
Yeah. But you tell me if third time's a charm, if not.
See,
we've not had the same conversation twice, so it doesn't matter, does it?
No, that's a good thing. And my technical knowledge of watching these lines go up and down whenever we speak on each other's mic, it looks like they've not cut out.
Okay, I'm glad
So
you've been
we'll
looking
see.
at it.
Every now and then I have a glance and go, is it still moving? Is it still moving?
It was all my fault last time. I was leaning, but the wedge behind my back has kept me in position.
But no, it's been like really good to like not only be your friend, but like help you get to where you are injury free and not have to. For you not to have to worry about that as well. It's been quite nice.
Yeah.
And then slowly you're doing who'd have thought you'd do a middle distance triathlon 4 years ago or 3 years ago?
Oh, yeah, we'll see on the day.
have-
No, I will do it. I promise I've committed now.
You'd have probably gone, are you out of your mind? So
I sort of said that when you asked me not that long ago.
what to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think I planted a seed, and I've done the same with Meg as well. And now she had a thought about it, and then she came back and said, "No, I actually want to do it."
Like I say, it's not for the reasons that most other people will be going there to do it. I don't think. I'm just going because Cotswolds is really pretty and lovely area. Why?
I just think we'll have a really
not
nice time.
go for an organised route round somewhere?
It's kind of my equivalent of meeting up with a load of mates having a piss up.
Yeah.
Just go.
Yeah. Oh, can we have pizzas?
Yeah, of course we can. We'll have pizzas. Well,
Find some.
yeah. Well, we could try and get them like for the. Oh, well, everyone will be eating them there, won't they? If we get them at the finish line, everyone will be trying to poach our pizzas like seagulls. After our chips. We'll have to. Yeah, we'll definitely organise.
Find a delivery company that operates that far into the Cotswolds.
Yeah, we'll do something like that. But no, it's I think it'll be good to see what happens this year, and we'll carry on documenting stuff. And we've surpassed 100 plays on the audio podcast recently, which was cool. I think we're at like 140 now.
Is that the Spotify or Apple versions? Or
that's combined, yeah. So all of the audio
I was some
versions.
of the Spotify ones.
so it's Spotify, Apple, and you can listen to it directly from the website now as well. So if you so people that just listen to the audio, it's for 4 episodes. This is the 5th one. Like I'm like, it's not bad. Not bad. And the feedback
just
we've had is really
the audio.
good.
No one needs to see.
No.
You did con me as well, because when you said, "Oh, will you come and do a podcast?" I was like, "Yeah, that sound. Yeah, great." And then he said, "Oh, and we're gonna video it." Oh, great, yeah.
Well, have you not seen the other? I thought you'd have seen the other ones.
I did, yeah, but I recorded mine, the first one in the December, didn't I? So it was like
it was before the first one.
No, it was just after Anna's.
Oh, so
I
you
think.
saw Anna's and you saw that it was.
Yeah.
So you knew that it before you
but
arrived.
when I originally said yes, you said it was a podcast.
It is.
Yeah.
Which is also filmed.
Didn't say about the video bit. Cheated.
Well, nowadays it will be stupid to do a podcast and not film it. Just think of all the extra content. TikTok, Instagram
all
Reels.
the looks sort of shot you throughout this.
Yeah.
Oh no, the last one we recorded, I did
all.
a really unimpressed look towards you, didn't I? That you told me you were going to use as the
obviously
front
that's
cover
gone now.
for it. Oh, shame.
Mate, there'll be loads of them.
I'm sure there will in this.
There'll be loads more. So yeah, and then on YouTube, I think we're at similar amount of views, but not many subscribed. We've only got like 30 odd subscribers. So,
I watched Charlie. Like I said to you, I watched Charlie's on YouTube while I was doing my bike session.
Yeah.
Whenever it was it last week?
I think
week
so.
before?
Week before.
Week before.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got confused. I'm not really very technological, am
Yeah,
I?
it's been a
I
couple
got confused. I couldn't work out if I was watching it like as you were recording it, and then you said no. Don't be stupid.
No, it was it premiered. Anyway, I'm not getting that discussion now.
No, it's too much. It's too much.
Not teaching you how to do tech stuff.
No, there's no point.
So yeah, if people could, if you enjoyed it and still listening now, like I literally love you because this is like.
I'm sorry for the last 5
minutes. How have you not clicked off on now with Hayley just talking absolute garbage for 5 minutes about I don't know how Instagram works and what's the podcast? Yeah, like it really helps if you like, comment, follow if you're listening, subscribe, just interact with the podcast on the official channels in any way. That helps because it means that it gets shared to other people who don't know this podcast exists, which is kind of the goal, to reach people who don't even know it's even here. So thank you. If you listen to it all the way, that's also a big help as well because it does the algorithm really good. Hayley has no idea what I'm talking about right now. Now we're going to go. Enjoy your day. Thank you. Hopefully we'll be back in a week or two with another episode. Thank you very much, Hayley.
Thank you.
Goodbye, people.
Bye-bye.